So the completionist situation really is a testament to something that I myself have struggled with for a long time, especially when it comes to donating to charities. It's the idea that like I want to know exactly where it's going and how it's being used, etc. It's just something that I've always personally felt that I always like to be informed of what exactly I'm giving to. I'll tell you what, this situation, however, it really puts a dent on that skepticism that I already had. It really goes to show you that you really can't trust anyone online as much as you think you can. You could also argue that it's mainly our fault because we got this habit as human beings to like associate positive traits with someone, like just because they're successful on YouTube or in life, or because they have a higher subscriber count or view count. You know, a lot of us either we're still doing this or we used to be guilty of this, you know, myself included. Before I started making content myself, you know, I always assumed that channels on YouTube with high sub counts are probably more qualified to speak on certain things. And now that I'm dipping my toes into this cesspool that is making online content, I realized quickly that I couldn't be further from the truth. So for better or worse, maybe it's not as deep as I think it is, but let me give you the lowdown of the story. If you haven't heard about it recently, the Completionist, his name being Gerard Khalil, he's going through a bit of heat right now after Mutahar from Some Ordinary Gamers and another YouTuber named Carl Jops come out. And they pretty much exposed the fact that Gerard has been holding out on funds that's been given to him through his event called Indieland. He hosted occasionally. It's basically like a big charity stream event that highlights like independently developed games. It's a cool idea, and they sometimes have like big name celebrities or people that work within the industry to show up to it. So it's a pretty great concept. Sounds wholesome, sounds amazing, 10 out of 10, right? The primary cause that Gerard wanted to focus his charity money towards during this event was actually dementia research. And this is due to the fact that dementia was a significant cause to his mother's passing. And so because that happened, he also founded the Open Hand Foundation, and he began his philanthropy journey towards helping those suffering from dementia there, right? Problem is, Mutahar and Carl caught him slipping with pretty much all of the money just sitting there in an account, stagnant, just stinking up the place. Like this dude's like Pablo Escobar or something. So they spent some of it for obviously for things that you would expect like most charitable organizations to spend it on. But overall, when they took a deep dive into their tax records, they basically realized that they're pretty much sitting on over like $600,000 worth of money. And they haven't sent any of it to any dementia research organizations for like 5 years. So now the question becomes twofold, right? Why is it that the money's just sitting there, right? Because if you want to fight against dementia, you don't just have the money sitting there stagnant, right? It's not wine. It doesn't get better when it just sits there unless it's like collecting interest, which we don't know, but that's a different theory. I'm not going to put my own stuff in there, but I will say that, you know, again, first question, you know, why is it sitting there? Let's be honest, that amount of money is significant, right? Over 600K worth of money is crazy. If they did another charity event for another year, we're talking to close to in the million now. That can really make a true difference and affect someone's lives. So we're not talking about chump change, couple $100, couple thousands. No, this is like hundreds of thousands. Now, regardless of the amount, it's wrong to just have it sitting there anyway, especially if someone gives it to you. So that could be a serious problem. Another thing is, would this be considered fraud since they arguably misled people into thinking they would be directly going into dementia research, right? So in other words, would you, right, if you're watching this video and you saw that I was doing a charity and I told you, hey, it's just going to sit there, would you actually willingly donate to it, right? If you knew for a fact that the hard-earned money that you sent would just be sitting in an account, would you have donated, right? A lot of us will argue absolutely not, right? If he was upfront about it and he said, look, I haven't decided on who I want to send this money to. I know I want to send it to dementia research, but I just want you to know that everything you donate will sit until we do find someone and we'll let you know. I think if he went with that approach, it probably would have mitigated a lot of the skepticism coming from this and all the fraud allegations at the bare minimum. You know, a lot of people's, I think, frustrations would have been mitigated had that happened. So the problem is it just makes the whole thing look very sus. Looks like Mutahar is pretty adamant on getting like the government authorities involved, like the IRS, which, to be honest, I can't necessarily blame him. A lot of us, myself included, we're involved in charity, you know, so when you see someone misusing it, it can really leave a bitter taste in your mouth, especially if you already have like a presupposition against it due to the reputations that charities have already. Now, they're not all bad, but man, this doesn't help, you know? Like, I don't know, myself, right? Like, imagine if I just kept all the money that was donated to me from my last charity stream. Now, luckily, I got proof and confirmation numbers, so when I do my tax returns, it'll all reflect properly. Thank goodness. And most of it was done, you know, with my little small community. But imagine somebody like him with such a much larger reach and a lot more buku bucks than I could even claim, which was just a couple hundred. Or at worst, what Gerard did here precisely was, you know, he claimed that he was donating it, but really it was just stagnant the whole time. And if you watch Carl's video, it actually specifies it. But a lot of y'all and a lot of content creators will be pissed about this, knowing that. I'm going to keep my eye on this story. Gerard, it seems like his team and him haven't really made like a formal announcement about it or any like press releases or anything public. So they're pretty silent about it. So it looks like Mutahar and everyone's just kind of assuming that they're going to get their lawyers involved and probably get ready to handle this debacle as best they can, because, you know, I really hope best case scenario that it was just deceptive and the money is in fact sitting there, and they'll be actually true to their words when they say that they just haven't found an appropriate organization yet. When you watch Mutahar's video, I think Gerard actually says it in there. He's like, look, like we genuinely just haven't been able to come up with, you know, an organization that we wanted to send it to yet. I think they like responded to him when they reached out. So hopefully that's the case. Hopefully, you know, what they say is true and they do end up finding someone to, you know, donate all that money to and put a significant, you know, dent into hopefully finding a cure for this, you know, this terrible disease. Because if not, this could be a pretty career ending for our guy, the Completionist. You know, I've watched a lot of his content. It's really good. It's very thorough. I think he has some of the best reviews I've ever seen. You know, not a lot of people who do reviews on YouTube can claim they beat the entire game when they make said review. Credit to him, man. I mean, separating the person from what they've accomplished. I mean, he's got one of the coolest channels I've seen. So hopefully it's all just a bit of misunderstanding and what they say is true, you know, they can find someone. So it's just another lesson for us that you really can't trust what people are saying. You know, you got to really watch their actions. You know, as Christians, we say we shall know them by their fruits, right? This is what Jesus taught. He's basically saying that, you know, you got to watch what someone produces and you know where their heart is truly, right? You'll be able to discern the true nature of people by observing the impact of what they do and their overall character, beyond just like their mere appearances. And let's be honest, it took a lot of guts for Gerard to talk to both Muta and Carl. So I can respect that. But I would just encourage you to watch Carl's video, and it gives you the situation like a lot more straight up than I can tell you. And it even exposes some of the lies, or at least lies by omission, that Gerard did. But, you know, don't take my word for it. So if you want to go into detail, though, I'd watch Muta's video. He goes really in detail. It's like literally year by year. He even goes over the year by year tax records, and he explains exactly how it really doesn't make sense in a way that you can like understand it a lot better than maybe I can explain. So both links will be in the description, guys. And if you watch this video all the way to the end, I want to say I appreciate you very much. Let me know what y'all think about this in the comments. Your feedback on this, if you actually enjoyed this content, and consider subscribing. I'm still new to this whole content creation space, so I'm still learning as much as I can. I don't make commentaries very often, but this is just one that I had to talk about. So if you did enjoy it and you'd like me to talk about some more stuff, feel free to let me know. Hit me up on all socials. And as always, guys, much love. Have a good one, and I'll see you very, very soon.